Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of First and North. Lou Canellis with you at Fox 32 in Chicago. Joining me this week on First and North, here's the crew from Fox 2 in Detroit. Welcome back, Jennifer Hammond. Haven't seen you in a while.
Thank you.
From Fox 6 in Milwaukee, Brandon Cruz. Welcome back to Brandon as well. And from Fox 9 in Minneapolis, I love seeing this guy. He brings it every single time. Ahmad Hicks is on the show. All right, let's look at the NFC North standings going into.
You just like to push his buttons, Lou.
I love pushing his buttons. Yes. All right, these are the updated standings going into Week 13. Top three teams in the NFC North all won last Sunday. Bears in the lead, working on their second four-game win streak this season. They hold the number 3 seed in the NFC behind the Rams and Eagles. Bears are in Philadelphia on Black Friday. Game can be seen right here on Fox 32 Chicago locally. Packers remain second in the division, 6th in the NFC playoff picture. And if the postseason started this week, the Bears would host the Packers in the wild card round. Lions back in the win column, but a half a game behind Green Bay with a chance now to leapfrog the Packers Thanksgiving Day. Detroit today would not be invited to the playoffs. Vikings, sorry, Ahmad, 4-7 and would need a complete turnaround to make the postseason. By the way, the Giants are the only team in the NFC officially eliminated from playoff contention. I want to get into the first place. Yes, thank you very much, Jen. You guys are lucky. First place, Bears, do it again. First 8-win season for the Bears since 2020. Hear me out now. Bears keep beating bad teams and winning close games. Yes, I get it. The Steelers team, though, pretty good. Tied for first right now with the Ravens. Didn't have Aaron Rodgers, didn't play, and it was another one-score game for the Bears, who are now 6-1 in one-score games. Sometimes certain teams have the magic, and the Bears seem to be that team this season. By the way, Ben Johnson, just the 4th coach all-time in Bears history to open up 8-3. Again, the main reason behind the close game victories, that guy, Ben Johnson. He's got players believing in themselves, believing in the coaches, and now the coaches are believing in the players. Starters and backups. Yes, backups as well. Bears had all kinds of injuries in that game against Pittsburgh. They were down at one point 7 defensive starters against the Steelers. Jennifer, what the Bears did Sunday reminded me of the Lions last season. All those players Detroit had on IR, and the Lions just kept playing next man up. Montez Sweat's been playing his best ball since coming to the Bears, 6.5 sacks over the last 6 games, second most sacks in the NFC behind Micah Parsons. And the Bears with 2 more takeaways. They now have a league-leading 24 takeaways, and against the Steelers, they turned those takeaways into points.
Hell yeah! I tell you what, it takes a village. It takes a village, and I'm talking about players, I'm talking about coaches, I'm talking about training staff, I'm talking about everybody in this building. Everybody. And here we are towards the back half of the season, and our depth is being tested. All right? It would have been so easy to walk. Man, how are we going to win this game? We got no linebackers. What are you talking about? We got no linebackers. How are we going to win this game? You guys don't bat an eye. Good, better, bad. Good, better, bad. Never let it rest. Never let it rest. Good gets better. Good gets better. Any better gets better. Any better gets better. Bears on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bears.
Jen, I'm going to come right to you out of Ben Johnson's pep talk there as locker room celebration. Do you guys miss Ben Johnson?
Yeah, and you know what? It's crazy. Actually, it's not crazy at all. It's completely rational. As the weeks go on, as time goes on, Lou, there are more and more people here in Detroit who sit back and say maybe Ben Johnson was the creator of the magic that the Lions had going on with the offense, because what we've seen from this offense this season really is almost a shell of what they did last season and the prior season, as they really made that charge toward the NFC Championship game. And what's really critical here, though, also to mention, is the fact that the Lions are much better on offense when they have a healthy offensive line, which they don't have right now. Also, when they had Frank Ragnow in the middle, and they had some veteran guards alongside him. So things have been a little sketchy for the Lions, and there are a whole lot of people that miss Ben Johnson right about now in Detroit.
All right, Jen, I'm going to keep it with you. I'm going to stick with the Lions for a second. What a wild finish in Detroit against the Giants. And Dan Campbell and the team, fired up in the locker room after that one.
Holy crap, guys. It's a heck of a win, man. Listen, you don't know exactly how the game's going to go, and you guys just kept swatting it back, man, buying your time, and we made the stop we needed to. Hutch, great job there at the end. It was unbelievable.
Hey, way to fight, fellas, way to fight. Use this feeling for the next one. Use it. We know what this one's about. Win out there, what do you think? Win!
All right, Jen, I appreciate Goff. I appreciate Campbell. But guess what? In my opinion, from the outside looking in, these Lions are not as good as last year's team that won 15 games, even though they fought through injuries all season long. Do you agree? And if yes, why?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I think, as I mentioned, I mean, it's the personnel up front, certainly on the offensive line. That's where we're seeing some of the biggest issues at this point in time. And give those guys credit. I mean, they are very beat up. They are battling through to the best of their ability. And we even talked yesterday to Tate Ratledge, who said, you know what, his game against Green Bay in the season opener was probably the worst of his career, and that was his first of his career in the NFL. And they are trying to slowly get better. We saw them run the ball very well. So without taking anything away from that offensive line, I mean, Gibbs was amazing, but the offensive line also created a lot of those creases for him to get through, and he ran up the middle on some of those long runs, the 49, the 69. He found a crease right up the middle thanks to that offensive line. But I do think that there's something going on offensively that this team needs to find an answer to, and in a big hurry, because they've got to be able to keep up with this not only Packers offense, which hasn't been as great lately, but the Packers defense, and they're going to be coming. I mean, they know how to get Jared Goff off his mark. They've really been they gave them huge issues, 5 sacks, also holding them to just 46 yards rushing in that first game that they lost in the season opener at Lambeau. So it's going to be a hugely tall task for the Lions offense as they exist now and as they played against the Giants to be able to beat this Packers team. But again, I think there may have been a little look beyond the Giants, and nobody will ever admit that to you. But it happens in the NFL. It happens in life. You're feeling good about yourself. A 2-9 team comes in, and you think, yeah, we'll just play our game. But they've certainly got to clean some stuff up and play a whole lot better to beat that Packers team on Thursday. All
right, I'll get to the Packers and Brandon Cruz in a second. Ahmad, J.J. McCarthy had another awful showing against the Packers, and it hurts me to say that. He's a LaGrange Park kid. He's a local kid in this town. He's somewhat of a hero after what he did at Michigan. Were his struggles against the Packers more of his own doing or Green Bay's defense?
I think there was a combination of it. I mean, if you look at the TV copy of the game, you can just make the assumption that J.J. McCarthy was awful. But if you go back and you look at the All-Pro 22 look, it's like, all right, well, maybe some of the play calls were bad. The offensive line that the Vikings spent a ton of money on, $100 million plus on 2 guys, a first-round draft pick and Donovan Jackson, they just not have been good this year. That was the first game that all 5 offensive line starters played together, and guess what? They didn't end the game playing together. So, yes, J.J. McCarthy has to shoulder a lot of that responsibility because he's the quarterback in the National Football League. But I think it was a total team effort that kind of was a letdown offensively. Kevin O'Connell didn't do him any favors, putting the training wheels on him in the first half, calling 58% runs, and then Miles Price with the costly turnover there coming out of the second half. But just putting it mildly, J.J. McCarthy has to be better. I mean, he has 10 interceptions this season. That's never going to get the job done as a QB1 in the National Football League.
All right, let me bring in Brandon now. Brandon, Packers defense dominated that second half against Minnesota. Man, only gave up 4 total yards, had 5 sacks, 2 coming from Micah Parsons. When Green Bay's defense plays like it did last Sunday, I'm telling you, they're a Super Bowl team, aren't they?
The defense has been phenomenal. I mean, that's the one thing. Even in their losses, the defense has played great, especially lately. And it's all starting to come together right now. And this is the time of year when you historically look at what Matt LaFleur has done. The Packers win. The Packers don't lose from this point on generally because of the adjustments they've made and the way things start to progress for this team. And usually it's the offense, but right now it is the Packers defense. And as you mentioned, they really just dominated the Vikings on Sunday. A lot of that was they were getting pressure on J.J. McCarthy, and if they weren't sacking him, which they did 5 times, they were creating turnovers, 2 interceptions, something the Packers defense hasn't been able to do much of this year. But last week, they had an opportunity for 4 interceptions, and they went through the hands where they just dropped it. The DBs did. That didn't happen against the Vikings. And so you start to see the momentum coming and that complementary defense where the offensive line or the defensive line is creating problems. The linebackers and the DBs then are able to take advantage because the quarterback is off balance or throwing early or throwing late. I mean, this is what the Packers are right now. They are now hoping that the offense catches up to where the defense is.
All right, Jen, I want to go back to the Lions. Pass defense was bad, man. Gave up nearly 400 passing yards. Everyone blaming Aiden Hutchinson. I don't get it. Fans, Giants offensive linemen, what's the deal?
Yeah, it's interesting because Aiden was asked about that just yesterday, and he said, you know what, that's fine. People can say whatever they want. I got a sack to end the game, and guess what? We won the game. So that's all he cared about. I will say this, give the guy credit. He was out there for 77 defensive plays, which is an ungodly amount. And what they're trying to do now is get some bodies healthy along that defensive front, Lou. They're going to hopefully get Marcus Davenport back this week so he can play more on the outside. Aleem McNeil has actually shifted from the tackle position to the edge. He played 17 snaps against the Eagles, 24 against the Giants. Who knows if he'll play even an increased load this week against the Packers. But until they get somebody on the opposite end from Hutch, they're going to have trouble stopping the run, which is going to lead to longer downs and distances, and there's going to be more passing situations, and they're just going to have a hard time until they get healthy along that defensive line. But for Aiden, you know what? He came up with one play that was absolutely huge, so I give him all the credit in the world for that, and he got a game ball from Dan Campbell for it.
All right, back to the Vikings. Ahmad, Justin Jefferson, this guy has not had a 100-yard receiving game since week 5. Is he frustrated?
No. Yeah, I mean, he's not coming out and saying he's frustrated, but if I were in his shoes, I would be so upset each and every week. You're talking about a guy that's eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark each and every year he's been in the National Football League. And with the backup quarterback and Nick Mullins a couple of seasons ago, he averaged 80 yards per game plus. This season, he's averaging about 50 yards per game with J.J. McCarthy as the quarterback. So, yes, he's not coming out and blasting his QB1. He's having his back. You know, he's supporting him in front of the local and national media. But you have to know he's upset, and he's just praying for a breakthrough.
Brandon, give me 30 seconds. Emmanuel Wilson filled in nicely for Josh Jacobs last week. Career high, 107 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Who's getting the carries in Detroit?
I have to believe it's going to be Josh Jacobs for the most part, but because of the way Wilson played, I bet you he gets a lot more touches than he would have previously because of what he was able to do against the Vikings. I mean, it was the first 100-yard rushing day of the year for a running back in the Packers offense, so I think Jacobs also was going to get out there, but by 9:45 on Sunday morning, he was out. So to me, it's still most likely going to be Jacobs, but look for Wilson to get more touches.
Back to Ahmad. Undrafted rookie Max Brosmer. Is he going to be in line to start if McCarthy can't go because of being in concussion protocol?
Look, Brosmer certainly will have his opportunity. They love the way he progresses down the field. They love the way that he's able to kind of progress through a defense and through his reads and whatnot. But only time will tell. We'll see if J.J. McCarthy clears that concussion protocol, and we'll see what Brosmer has if given the opportunity.
All right, you just heard it from Ahmad. Brosmer will be ready. We need to take a timeout. Do the Vikings' problems run deeper than just at quarterback with J.J. McCarthy? And we will give you the latest on injury news around the division as we continue next here on First and North.
It's a Black Friday showdown. Bears, Eagles. Touchdown! Black Friday at 2 on Fox Chicago.
Back here on First and North, Lou Canellis with you at our Fox 32 studios in Chicago, joined by Jennifer Hammond at Fox in Detroit, Fox 2 in Detroit. Brandon Cruz, Fox 6 Milwaukee, Ahmad Hicks, Fox 9 Minneapolis. All right, back to Jen. Jen, I still think the Giants are trying to track down Jahmyr Gibbs. The guy just ran wild all over him, career high 219. But he's been doing it the last, 3-4 games. I think he's averaging $130 on the ground. What do you think? Are we going to get a heavy dose of Gibbs for Thanksgiving dinner?
Well, I would imagine that they would continue to feed that goose, so to speak. But I'll tell you something, the way that he ran against the Giants was probably to be expected because obviously their run defense is one of the worst in the league. I don't know that they will have the same success against the Green Bay Packers. But this guy, you just see him get the ball and take off, and then when he gets that open field speed, he hits not only just a second gear, a third gear, and he's gone. And it was so thrilling to watch those long touchdown runs. And he said he didn't feel like he had to do it all on his own because he gives credit, of course, to the offensive line and the guys up front. Certainly that's modest and kind, but they did do just enough to get him some of those big holes. And also he caught some passes too. I mean, when you see this guy go and then you see the tweets from Barry Sanders afterwards, I mean, he is really something special, and I think he's only going to keep getting better. And Dan Campbell doesn't seem interested in using David Montgomery at any point in the near future in the game plan. He'll get a couple of balls early, but when he's doing, 1.9, 1.8 per carry, he's not getting many balls his way, so it's all going to be on Gibbs.
Yeah, he was electrifying in overtime, that's for sure. Brandon, Jayden Reed's practice window opened last week. What do you think? Will he be back on Thursday?
I think there's a hope that he can. I'm not sure if he will be able to, but he was very excited to be just back with the team, be back on the field, enjoying the moment. And he was able to get healthier with his foot as well. He had broken his clavicle in week 2, and that's why he was out. But he had an injured foot at the time, and so he says he's feeling great right now. He would love to be out there, and I know the Packers would love to have him, especially, with the injuries they've had in their receiving core. So to get him back would be a big, big boost going into Thursday. But at this point, I think it is still a very questionable return for Jayden Reed.
Ahmad, one of the reasons why I love you on this show is you're honest, man. You call it like it is. And I'm going to really hit you with one here. Do the Vikings' problems run deeper than just at quarterback? Last year, we're talking about a team that won 14 games. They made, and you touched on it, the financial commitments this year have nothing to show for it right now. Has this team done a poor job of drafting and developing young talent?
Absolutely. It is all on the shoulders of General Manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. You pull up his resume and his drafts, they have been horrendous. And I mean, that's putting it mildly. No one from his first draft is still around outside of Ty Chandler and Jalen Naylor, and neither one of them are making a significant contribution around here. You can make the argument that only Jordan Addison, of all his draft picks, have really panned out to be something here in Minnesota. So if Minnesota wants to improve, their general manager, who just got an extension this past offseason, he has to be better. He has to do a better job of drafting young, talented players that they can develop and not have to go out and go spend $350 million on their roster. So it all starts with him and then the people in his scouting department, because they made sure that J.J. McCarthy was the guy. They went and got him. They drafted him high in the first round of the NFL draft a couple of seasons ago, and then they let Sam Darnold walk and they let Daniel Jones walk. They didn't make a big effort to keep both of those guys around. I know they wanted to, but they didn't throw the dollars their way because they believed in J.J. McCarthy. So something must be wrong with their eyes, or something must be wrong, extremely wrong, with J.J. McCarthy's confidence, because I don't think he's the same quarterback he was that we saw in training camp last year. But if this is what we're going to get, then that means that they tremendously failed this football team, and their scouts failed General Manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and not helping him make a better draft pick and, sticking with J.J. McCarthy. So I think it all starts with the top down here and not just the players on the field. Nice job for calling it like it is. Jen, Lions got back a handful of players, including DJ Reed. Kirby Joseph, though, missed his 5th straight game with a bad knee. Terrion Arnold, his 2nd in a row now with a concussion. Any chance Joseph or Arnold or both are back Thursday?
I would say, Lou, that it's looking mostly like we will not see Kirby Joseph again, but it's very encouraging, and it seems as if we might see Terrion Arnold back. He cleared the first hurdle of concussion protocol. He also was dealing with that shoulder as well, you'll remember. So as he has returned to practice, yesterday's practice reports, it was just a walkthrough. They're doing another walkthrough today, but they are not practicing this week. But he was listed as return to practice and limited, so that means that he looks like he's going to be able to make a start. Dan Campbell said that again yesterday, and also on Monday I spoke to Terrion, and he seemed pretty encouraged by the fact that he might be out there on the field on Thursday. All right, that's good news. Bears will have some key defensive players coming back, hopefully soon. We don't know yet. Edwards, TJ Edwards, defensive backs Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, they could be back for the Eagles game, the 2 DBs. TJ Edwards, hopefully a week from Sunday against the Packers. Tremaine Edmonds, this guy was having his best season as a Bear. He had 4 interceptions, was leading the team in tackles by a mile, but he got moved to IR.
can't return now to the second Packers game at the earliest. That's December 20th. That Saturday game will all carry in prime time. It's so important for this defense that they get those defensive backs back. Jalen Hurts Friday. Jordan Love coming up twice in 3 weeks. Brock Purdy and Jared Goff on the schedule. Bears will need them. Back to Jen. Lions host the Cowboys the following Thursday, a week from Thanksgiving. 3 games in 12 days. How are they going to handle this stretch, Jen?
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's funny, yesterday Aiden Hutchinson said, you know what, as much as that sounds like just the gauntlet, we're only focused on the next one. We can't look beyond that. Those games, really, the fact that they've got 2 in a row on Thursdays after that, they don't get that recovery weekend that they typically get after Thanksgiving. Lots of hydration, lots of rest. They need some time because their schedule, as you see coming up, is really tough. I know the Bears have probably the toughest one so far in the NFC as the schedule for the rest of the season, but it's not going to be easy against the Packers or the Cowboys, at the Rams or at the Bears to end the season. So they've just got to get rest. They've got to get some guys back, and I do think that what they're trying to do is make sure that when guys do come back, with the case of Kirby, make sure they are healthy enough that they can keep them.
All right, let's close the
Jen,
segment.
I like how you skipped over the Vikings there. I love that. I love
Sorry.
that.
Hey, you told me the full story. You told me everything I needed to know there, Ahmad.
Look, I get it.
Hey, Brandon, real quick, are the critics backing off head coach Matt LaFleur?
I think a little, but I still think the pressure is on him. I mean, he needs to get this team going further into the playoffs. He needs to make the playoffs, obviously, with where they are right now, as you showed earlier, the 6th seed if it all ended today. So they do need to improve their stats. They need to improve what they've done in January in recent times. So I do think that the pressure is on him, especially with Ed Policy now in charge.
Absolutely. We need to take our final timeout. We'll preview Week 13 around the division next here on First and North.
It's been since 2019. Ohio State beats everybody except Michigan.
Toughness! This is who we are!
Matchups for Week 13 in the NFC North. Thanksgiving Day, major division battle. Packers, Ford Field, Lions. Then on Black Friday, battle for the 2 seed in the NFC. Bears, Eagles, Philadelphia. That game can be seen right here on Fox 32 Chicago. Sunday, Vikings, another tough defense. They'll head to Seattle to take on the 12th man in the Seahawks. Brandon, Packers haven't swept the Lions in a season series since 2020. Give me 20 seconds on why it's going to happen Thursday.
It's going to happen Thursday because of the pass rush from the Packers. They are relentless right now, and they have figured out how to get to Jared Goff and make him uncomfortable. I think that is where the difference is going to be in this one, is that defensive pressure, which ripples all the way back, like I said it did against the Vikings. That's the way they're going to beat the Lions on Thursday.
All right, Jennifer, why are the Lions going to win this game against the Pack?
Well, I think if they can lean on that rush game, they absolutely have a chance, but they've also got to open up the passing game because play action is the way the Lions offense gets it done. They have got to protect Goff. That is job one. They could also probably use some takeaways on defense.
All right, Ahmad, give some hope to Vikings fans.
We're just going to pray. I mean, that's all we can do together. Just come together. Let's pray that something good can happen because you're going to try out another rookie quarterback, inexperienced quarterback. I don't know if that's going to be the answer. This defense has been playing better, but let's just all come together and pray. All right.
Ahmad,
he's fierce without a tie, I'm telling you.
I know. Hey, battle for the 2 seed in the playoffs. Bears, Eagles. Bears playing in their biggest game since I don't know when. We know this team can beat the bad teams. Now they get the defending Super Bowl champs. Guys, have a happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. Thanks so much for another great show. For Jennifer, Brandon, and Ahmad, I'm Lou Canellis. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Enjoy the weekend of football on Fox.